noise of his cars.
Hello, welcome to Ghosted UK Live. And tonight we have a special guest, Paul Goddard. We'll be talking about past life regression and bits and bobs. Hello, Paul. How are you?
Hello there, Tim. Yes, I'm doing really well, thank you. Looking forward to this evening talking about everything hypnotic, past life regression, and so on. So I hope that your viewers will enjoy this time with us.
Well, if they don't, Paul, I'm interested. So
that's good. One person not be interested. So.
I'm joking. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Robin. How are you? Yeah, where you been? You're on time today. What's going on? Can you see the messages, Paul, on your side?
I sent my 0 to 95 just popped in the corner, so let's take a look. No, I can't see the messages, I'm afraid.
Okay, I'll pop them up for you.
Right.
There you go.
All right. Oh, hello, Michelle.
That's our admin.
Lovely.
Hi, Paul, Tim. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, my good friend Lynn. Hello, Lynn.
Oh, it's you again. Get off. Hi, Paul.
Oh, bless you.
Jessica. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Jane.
Hi there, Jane.
Yeah, so, we're going to... Oh, hi, Mandy. Well, there you go. Yeah, so share out if you can, please. And like I said, we'll be talking about past life regression and bits and bobs. Bits and bobs, we'll just see how it goes with that. Because, Paul, you are a paranormal investigator as well, aren't you?
I am, yes. I don't do as much as I used to, but I pretty much started off my very first investigation. I would say our good friend Lynn Sindri was part of it, and we've remained friends ever since. And yeah, the experiences that we've gained together, some mostly funny, like when we both got stuck in the door because we both got frightened at the same time. And we caught some really interesting things together. And when she was doing the ghost walks, I started off with her, but because I became very involved with NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and then hypnosis and hypnotherapy, it was one of those things I had to let go, sadly. But she went from strength to strength, and her ghost walks became very successful. And like yourself, an author of ghost books. So it's privileged meeting her, definitely.
Hi, Jimmy. I just put it up there for you. Yeah, I think like Lynn is such a lovely lady that you just shine to. Everyone can shine to it in a way.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if they like you as a person, then I think whatever you do, you can't go wrong.
No, absolutely. She's got a lot of warmth to give out.
Hi, Rona. Hello, thanks for joining again. Hi, Karen. You need to get your profile picture sorted, Karen. Oh, she's one of our team members. She's a bit shy.
It's always nice to see somebody's happy, smiling face, I think, on these profiles.
Well, that's a surfboard on Trissy's. Look at that. Oh, right. Yeah. So, right. Let's talk about past life regression. That's your main thing you like doing, isn't it? Have you written any books or not yet?
I haven't, but I also do NLP, and I'm in the process of writing a book about personal development at the moment. But I do have this CD if people can see it. It's a past life regression CD. I went to the Forest of Dean to get that recorded, and the person who did that was he was in Dave Edmunds' band, the fellow that did I Hear You Knocking, and he's got loads of gold and platinum stuff on his wall, and a really reasonable price, because I've done them at home before, and I'm very proud of what I can do, but they very much were homespun, and I just needed to have that little bit of a professional edge to it. But yes, a book will be on the way at some point. I'm just at the moment collecting stories, and also as well, there's certain people that say, yes, I'm happy for you to share my story of the past life, and there's other people that just want to have it as being my one-to-one session with them. And
nice.
that you have to respect it, really. But yeah, Clayton at the moment. But yeah, you'll be one of the first to know if that book does come out eventually.
Good, brilliant. I mean, a starting books, that's the difficult.
Yes.
Doing the middle bit and finish apparently is good, but the starting's the hard bit. Dawn, hi, Deborah. I said, hello, new here. Hello, Deborah. Let's see, so I can't stay on. Just jumped on to share. Bless you. Oh, thank you, Dawn. That's very kind. She just popped on to share for us. That's nice.
Also, I don't have one of these really clever earpieces like you have with the microphone. So can everybody hear me okay? Because I can raise my voice if I'm a little bit on the quiet side or anything like that.
Can you hear Paul, everyone? There's a bit of a delay on the messages.
Okay.
Janice shared. Hi, Janice. Hello, Lou.
Hello, Lou.
I think that's Carol. Hey, Carol. So when you do this past life regression, do you have to put? Because I ain't got a clue. I'm just gonna put the hook out there and see what.
Yep, go for it.
So, do you? Hi, also hi Trissy, hi Noreen. I just put up there so you can see that. There you go.
Hi Noreen.
I think we said Trissy. And so you have to hypnosis to start it, is it?
So there's many different ways of doing past life regressions. The most common way, I think, is through hypnosis, because I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. But you do get people that are mediums and they can connect to people's past lives. Also, as well, you get people that do it through meditation. But for me, hypnosis, you can take somebody to a very deep state and get the best possible information from them. And what's quite interesting as well is that I tend to find, and a lot of other hypnotherapists do notice this, that if people come back a few times for a past life regression session, even if it's within that same lifetime, more information can come out because each time you go into hypnosis, you go deeper and deeper. And there's a technique, we're trying to get too technical, called fractionation in hypnotherapy and hypnosis, where you put somebody in trance, take them out of trance, put them back in, it sends them deeper and deeper. So it really gets you to access the subconscious mind. So it's fascinating stuff.
Yeah. Do you think you could do that sort of hypnosis into, I've heard of it, but I'm not sure, when they do medical procedures? Is that possible?
It is possible. It's a state you can get into. I mean, there's two ways of doing it. There's a state you can get into called the Esdale's coma state, which sounds terrifying, a coma state, but it just means that the person is that deep in hypnosis that they look pretty much like they're in a coma. They also get catalepsy in that as well. So if you were to lift somebody's arm up, it would remain just placed. And we've all been in a cataleptic state before when we've been watching TV, and there might be like a really gripping bit in the drama that we're watching, and you're putting the fork to your mouth if you're eating and watching at the same time, and you're stuck there, and you're there for a good 2 minutes whilst you're watching this bit. Your muscles in that point are evenly balanced, and you can put somebody into hypnosis, get them that deep that they don't feel pain when they're having an operation. Also as well is that if you can convince someone not to feel pain, then they won't, because there's like critical factors you have to get through first. But if you say to somebody, quite often you're going to go into this dentist chair and you won't feel any pain, quite often somebody's going to think to themselves in that state, yes I will, it's the dentist. So you've got to try and get past that. But some of the language that I would use with people is that when you go into the dentist chair and you relax in the chair and you can feel the chair, so you get them to know all the things that are going to happen, you say whatever happens to you just doesn't bother you. And by saying that it doesn't bother you rather than you're going to not feel pain, that will get through to the subconscious mind better. And then they're going to say, yes, I can feel the pain, I know it's discomfort, but it's not bothering me. So if somebody wants to go to the dentist, that's the state that I will get them into.
All right. I remember that when I need the dentist. Then. Just people saying hello quickly. Jasmine, hello. I think I'm there. Hello, Jasmine. I think I said Jas. Senior. So Paul doing a lot on live feeds is amazing. All that you got a fan, Paul? You got a fan?
I do. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Jazz watch party.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. What's that? I think, does it work for fear or flying?
Absolutely. I mean, that could even potentially go through to a past life where somebody may have had an accident. But I think so many people tend to be fearful of flying. But I could quite often do NLP with somebody and really talk through their fears, find out their some modalities, what they're worried about. And there's a technique in NLP, neuro-linguistic program, which is called the fast phobia cure, which tends to work really well. So I could use it for that. But when people come to see me, I've got no idea what sort of treatment I'm going to do with them, which might seem like, well, that's not so good. But each person will be different. So somebody's trigger for their fear of flying might be different to another person. So you chat to them and you get to know how their mind works, and then from that, it's like putting a puzzle together. You can then start moving the pieces into position.
Wow, that's got me thinking. I just don't think of the bank manager if I've got some ideas of them. Give me an overdraft.
Well, I know we're kind of going a bit away from past life regression at the moment, but it was actually
a little bit.
And I'll get back onto the past life regressions after. But Disney, when he went and did the Snow White film, he had to borrow money from the bank, and this was right at the heart when the Depression was going on, and banks weren't freely giving money away. So himself and his brother would rehearse, one being the bank man, one being the person going into the bank, and put the person who was being the bank manager really put themselves in the shoes of being the bank manager, and they would listen to all the different arguments until they felt, what would the bank manager take on, not what they felt they would, but really stepping in that person's shoes.
Is that true? Is that?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Right.
One of the trainers that I did go to see, who's called Robert Dilts, he's very well respected in the field. He was, right there from the beginning and has written loads of books about it. He really went into the creative strategy of Disney and has written a whole book about him, Strategies of a Genius. So
I've never heard of that one. Never. Yeah. That's quite amazing. Yeah, amazing. Questions. Yeah, questions. Oh, Mary. Hi, Paul. Hi, Derek. Hi, Mary and Paul. And Emma. Hi, Emma. How are you? She was on yesterday. Oh, what's this? The book. The book, Many Lives and Many Masters, where patients had underlying problems that occurred when they were regressed. All right.
Yeah, that's certainly true. I mean, quite often, I would say the majority of people that come to me, although I do open it up as being therapeutic, a lot of the therapeutic people tend to just come to me and I take them back to the time when the trauma first happened. That can be this life or previous life. But I've had people that have had fears. One lady went back to being on the Titanic, came up with lots of really interesting information, gave the name John Smith. Unfortunately, Smith was spelt with a Y, and I wish I asked how it's spelled, but I was just expecting it to be the usual one. She was a stoker, a fireman working in engine room 3, and her very last experience was actually drowning as being this person in a previous life. And she always had the fear of going into the shower, and she never liked water going on her head. And she didn't come to actually have a past life hypnotic experience. She went to me for a past life hypnotic experience, but not for like a therapeutic one. But after experiencing that, when she went to the shower the next time, she was just completely and utterly fine, which was great to hear. And I didn't specifically tackle that when I was with her. It was just exploring that interest. But quite often I find the subconscious mind will take you where you need to go.
All right. Scaring me now. You got a question? Hang on.
Okay.
Do you come out of regression without any memories of your experience? Good question.
Yeah, it is a good question. A lot of people will get amnesia from an hypnotic experience. However, when I do past life regressions, I always throw in saying that you remember this session with crystal clear clarity. So, and by putting that suggestion in, they do remember the experience. However, a bit of amnesia can be good when I'm just having other clients, because quite often when people are in hypnosis, they try and undo everything that you said, because not in a deliberate way, but they start saying, now what did he say at this stage? So you, at the end of the session, sometimes I'll just throw a couple of things in, like you try and think back to what I was saying 10 minutes ago, or what was running through your mind 5 minutes ago, or what was you were thinking 2 minutes before the start. But isn't it too difficult to try and remember all that? In fact, it seems more difficult than it seems worthwhile doing. So just relax and let it go. So you say something like that, and then the work will be done for the subconscious mind, and then the other work I've done with NLP will be for their conscious mind only.
All right. So I hope that answered your question. I'm just going to say, it's each person like different times? How long it takes to put them under, so to speak. Is it different for each person?
I think what you have to say to clients is that you'll feel relaxed, because I think people have seen so many Avengers episodes where somebody will be hypnotized, they'll get the code word over their telephone and they'll walk off like a zombie, and those sorts. I think people still have that perception inside their mind. Some people are a little bit fearful and they'll take longer. That's why I like to usually have people come to me, once this lockdown's finished, but on a one-to-one basis, because when they're there, you can really get to see what sort of client they are, whether they want to take their time. If they're somebody who's very distracted and you can tell their mind's jumping from one thing to another, I tend to do a much shorter induction. It can be anything from 15 minutes long till 3 minutes long. When I'm doing my live streams, I tend to do the 3-minute induction ones, because if people are watching induction too long, it can get quite boring. But you can do like instant inductions, which literally like take a second to do. I tend to not really do those ones. They're better for stage hypnotists, because you grab somebody, you give them a shock, and then you give them a command sleep. There's things which go on before that you plant suggestions in their mind, but it looks very impressive when you just sort of grab their arm and yank them and say sleep, and they'll deck out. But as people are coming for an enjoyable experience, I don't think people really want to be shocked into hypnosis. So it's either going to be 3 minutes or a 15-minute one, depending on what sort of personality you are.
And you've got key like certain ways you can suss, like certain things you do that they're going to be easier than harder. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, body language, if they're sort of twiddling their thumbs, and looking quite intense, they probably want to be quicker. If they're kind of a bit more like me, actually, just laid back like this and taking everything in their stride. And if they talk that they do a lot of meditation as well, that they've got the capability of having time to go into hypnosis. But sometimes during a session, I do one induction and it's not quite deep enough, so I'll then add another induction to it as well, to make sure they get the best possible experience out of a regression.
All right. Right, I better do some questions.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
I do. Probably said that. Yeah, do your question back. That's a bit of a slow one.
Mm-hmm.
What's that question? Jasmine, how much will it cost for a past life regression?
Well, with me, it's £45, and you get a DVD of the session to take home with you that very day. So there's not any waiting. I've got a camcorder which will record directly onto DVD. So I mic them up, because quite often people will be very quiet when they're talking. So I've got a lapel mic that I put right next to them. So yeah, they get the session, and as I said, I've got time to chat to them beforehand, and then it takes 5 minutes to finalise the disc afterwards. Little tiny disc which will fit in any DVD player, and I hand it to them for £45, and they can do it. If they're interested in these CDs, they're £5 each plus postage and packaging, or £3 for the MP3 version. And so people actually know, it starts off with just a little introduction. Then I do a visualization exercise, because a lot of people will come to me and they'll say, well, I can't visualize. If people remember what their fridge looks like, and they know how to open the door and know what it looks like inside, they can visualize. I think people tend to think they're going to close their eyes and it's going to be like they're there. So I do a visualization exercise. Then after that, I've got the past life regression session. And then track 4 is a healing session. And I've done a healing session because not everybody needs healing. I'd say it's about just 10% of people that wish to have healing after the past life regression, because there may be like some leftover trauma from what they've experienced. So if they do need to feel they got healing, they got that track 4 as well. But yeah, most of the time, because people are also fearful when you go into hypnosis, that the hypnotist has complete control over them, and that you're going to be at the mercy of the person putting them into hypnosis. But I always say to any client, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. I'll just be helping you to guide you into that state. And for any reason you don't like what you see, you can just open your eyes and you're out of it.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. My brain's trying to cope with all this. That's amazing. Yeah, it's very interesting. I think we said that. Do you come out of regression without any memories of your experience?
If anyone wants to ask, it can be just like, the government at the moment. You say, do you want to come back on that one? So if anybody has a further question to it, they can ask me as well.
Yes, so, Alexander, I had past regression, saw who I was, and I would have been famous.
Okay. That's really interesting. I mean, I haven't had anybody who's really famous in the past life regression. I've had interesting stories, but famous people will pass on. So famous people will reincarnate as well. So yeah, I mean, that's completely fine. And I'd love to know who you were, Alexander, if you're happy to share that.
I'm thinking Elvis Presley.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Maybe. So, is it dangerous, Michelle says?
It's not dangerous. It's no more dangerous than falling asleep. But the only thing I do say, if people have clinical depression, epilepsy, or under doctors' care for any similar reasons to that, it's always best to just speak to your GP before taking a regression session, just so us hypnotists can cover ourselves, basically. But every single time, even with somebody who has all these things, the doctor always says, yes, that's absolutely fine. But if anybody does have those, just to make sure everything's 100% safe, it's a recommendation of mine.
So can you do past life regression over? So
do you mean like several times? If it's several times, yeah, absolutely. I mean, most people have more than one past life experience, and you could keep going back into the same life as well if you find it interesting, want to have more answers. So I hope that's answered your question, Robin.
Okay. Oh, what's that? Have you ever been shocked by anything you heard once the person is regressed? D. Hi, D.
Hi, D. Yeah. Not usually. I remember I had one client, and when I do one-to-one, if it's particularly in a public place, I always have like somebody who's there with me. Somebody went back to being a Viking, and I was asking how they were doing, and they're a real gentle, soft person, but during hypnosis they were saying, it's been a good day of raping and pillaging, and my female friend was there giving him daggers, shaking her head, but that's his experience from a past life and got absolutely nothing to do with the character he was today. And it's interesting how people change sometimes in hypnosis as well, and sometimes as well people will start talking with a slightly different accent as well, or when they're getting older, the last year or two of their life, they can slow down sometimes and start actually sounding older as well, which is quite fascinating.
Just says Alex just come back. Alexander. It was great.
I'm interested to know who Alexander was in a previous life.
Right. Yeah, what we'll do, we'll put anything to do with Paul, we'll put it on our page and groups. You've got a page. You got a page in a group, Paul?
I mean, I've got several. What I'm really pushing at the moment is my Paul Goddard YouTube. So I've got several, but for the actual past life regressions, it's past life regressions with Paul Goddard on YouTube. So if you put that in, you'll come across my smile and face.
Facebook. We'll do that for you.
Thank you. Paul Goddard past life regressions is my Facebook, and I've also got Paul Goddard past life regressions on Instagram as well. They tend to be the ones that I use. I'm on LinkedIn and Twitter, but it tends to be those three: YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram are my main platforms that I use.
We'll sort that out for you, definitely. No, that's what we're always caring and sharing, aren't we, Robin? Yes.
Derek, I'm based in Gloucester. I do travel to people as well, but when I travel, to make it worth my time, I have to kind of put petrol in and say that I need to have 4 people agree to do it at one go if I'm going to be going to somebody's house or a venue or something like that. I might need to have a few more people if I'm like traveling up to the tip of Scotland, but I've travelled up to South Yorkshire so far, giving regressions to people. So also as well, what they might be interested if they're not Gloucestershire based, because obviously at the moment it's difficult to meet up with people being with lockdown. But I'm creating a Zoom, my first Zoom session, and that will be next Thursday, the 28th. I was going to do it at 8 o'clock, but because of clapping for carers, I'm doing it at 8:05. So that will be a stream on Zoom. So anybody interested, you're welcome to look me up on Facebook and private message me, or go to email me, Paul at paulgoddardnlp.co.uk. Oh, thank you, Lynn. Amazing. And then I'll let you know the Zoom password, and it'll be a group session and should last about an hour. So 30-40 minutes of doing a past life regression, then 20 minutes or longer if people want to be on there longer, discussing what they experienced. If you wish to discuss, there's no that you have to, but it's always nice to and good to, and everybody's friendly and everybody's really interested in what each other have come up with.
Oh, fantastic. Elaine, you can read that yourself.
And love looking at your page. I love your photography. Oh, thank you, Elena. Yeah, I'm pleased you like the photography as well.
I take photos too, you know. Yes. They're not very good, but
I'm sure they're brilliant, Tim.
No, they're terrible. I know I've said it on here before, but when I was regressed, I found out that in 1546 it was drowned after ducking stool. All my life I've been unable to put your head underwater.
Okay.
Oh, Jane. Okay.
Sometimes you might need to have like another past life regression session. I don't know if, Elena, you experienced that through a medium. It might be good for you to actually experience it as being yourself. Sometimes another past life regression session needs just to go deeper, but sometimes as well we just need tools that are within NLP, so we can help move ourselves forward with any particular phobias, because sometimes there's just that little bit that you need to unpick just to make your phobia lessen and hopefully disappear.
I wonder what I'd be. Like, what would you think I'd be in my past life on there? Come on. I know funny stuff. I'm not having it. I just wonder, what would you think I'd be? I thought I'd be a gladiator, Paul. That's what I
Oh,
thought.
well, funny enough,
Yeah.
I'm not at all psychic in any way, apart from sometimes I could be a bit intuitive. But a knight came into my mind then when you were saying about that. So kind of fighting thing. So yeah, similar.
I like Paul. And knight, sir.
Yeah.
I was telling them in the chat when with Caroline, I said I am a knight, and you should know that, right?
Yeah.
And they said you like Mr. Bean more like. No, I was a knight. See, Paul said I could have. I am a knight. Thank you very much. So there, have some of that, Carol and Robin. Dude, it's already just out. He said I'm a knightling.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'd be happy to set that up once we can travel again and meet up. But if you want to do that, you could come with Lynn if she's free as well. But yeah, we can set that up and do some sort of.
Linus mentioned about going down to Gloucester.
Oh, so, right, brilliant. Good.
So I did get yeah. Oh, Trissy, I'll give her a fan badge. Give Trissy a fan badge. Woohoo! I don't know. I always had these things about, because I've had like, I don't know, linked, probably not, but you've deja vu.
Yes.
Do you think that's linked a little bit into this, or regression, or not, or completely different?
I think it's a possibility. I haven't had too many people come to me for deja vu, so there is the theory that deja vu is, yes, you have been there before in a previous life. Other people say that it's like a little mini blackout, and we all get them from time to time. So you see somewhere for the first time, because you blacked out for a second, you've got that memory in the back of your mind that where you've been first time and when you first saw it, and it's got, I've been here before. So I don't really know about that. It's interesting. If anybody has real deja vu, it'd be interested to do a regression with somebody. Well, yourself, it might come up, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I was very young, and I was with my parents, and we went to this castle, and you get the little town. I can't remember. There's a little town near there. I mean, I've never been there before, and I know, as far as I know, my parents had been there before. I get there, and I know where all the shops were. I knew where the pub was. I knew everything. I even knew where the castle was. That was over a bridge and around the corner, and that was hidden, so you couldn't see it. And you didn't have Google then, sound of my age, and I knew exactly where all the shops were. Oh, that was that shop, and because that was a quaint little village, nothing's really changed in the village. The old oak beams outside and all that, and yeah. I knew exactly. And they were going looking at me, going, "How do you know?" I said, "I've been here before. I swear." That's sort of weird. You're walking along, and all of a sudden you think, "Oh, I remember this bridge. I remember that shop."
Yeah, that's quite compelling. That, I mean, you do get children that have spontaneous past lives, so that means that when they're born, and I heard you talking about this the other day with someone, that they will start saying stuff like, when I was big, or before I came to you, or when you were the baby, and these sorts of things that these children, when they're just beginning to talk, come out with.
Oh, you're breaking up a bit, Paul.
But there was one story. There's one story by Barbara. Is that okay now?
Yeah, you're just a bit laggy.
All right?
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, a bit better.
All right. Barbara Carlin. She was a lady who wrote. Well, she didn't actually write about being Anne Frank, but she had memories of being Anne Frank, and they actually took a holiday to Anne Frank's house to explore the area, because she was mentioning it so much, and she actually knew a shortcut of how to get to Anne Frank's house, without going like the main sort of tourist route to it. And she was when she got up to the room where they all were, the attic space, she was saying that they couldn't see, she couldn't see the photographs because Anne Frank was a fan of the stars of the day, so she had little pictures and photographs all up on her wall, and they actually her parents spoke to the creators of the place, and they said that these photographs were there, but they had to remove them because people were just taking them down as souvenirs, but they were going to go back up under a plate of glass and things like that she couldn't have known about beforehand. I find quite compelling, and she was a child prodigy of her age, just like Anne Frank was, but none of her books, because she wrote about prose, none of her books were about being Anne Frank, because she decided that was going to be a part of her life to move on from, and that it was time to really move forward and concentrate on this life, which I think is a very wise thing to do.
Oh wow! Here come all the questions. Yeah, share out, please, if you can. Appreciate it. Yeah, look, just well, bless you. Can you see it? Anyone see my comments? Sorry, Sue. I'm just trying to see them.
That's all right.
I'm a bit slow. I was still concentrating on this. I forget that part. Yeah, I could describe the palace without ever been there.
Okay.
Yeah. See, it made me wonder, didn't it? I mean, I didn't know if they're linked. I know. Oh, that's your one, isn't it? Sorry. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I often get to hear about children that talk about these spontaneous past lives, and when I give talks about past life regressions, I mention the great late Dr. Ian Stevenson, who passed away in 2007, and he went round the world interviewing children with spontaneous past lives, and he would always make sure that he spoke to the child firsthand and spoke to the child rather than the parent, because quite often these stories can end up being a little bit like Chinese whispers. So the actual truth, what the child is coming out with, by the time it gets to the parents and somebody else, will end up being something quite different. And that's one of the things that I encourage parents, if they have a child that's talking about possible past life, is to write it down or to record it if you can, so you can go back on it, because quite often they said, oh, my daughter that's now 12 and these past life memories have gone, she's used to say this, but I can't quite remember all of it. And I think it's important to write these things down. So if there's any parents out there that do have children which are coming out with these sayings, like when I was big, or talking about a previous life, you don't have to, but I'd encourage you to write it down so you can look back over it.
We say that when we do it in investigations. Yes. When we get these private ones, before we even go there, please write everything down so it gives us an idea what's going on, like what the incident or event, and what time, date, and that then helps us when we go there to get some idea what's been going on leading up to the case. You see?
Yeah, no, it's important.
Just reminded me of that one. What's that? Questions. What's that one? Thing to do with the times.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly could be, linked to past life. If you have like an interest. One of my very first clients was Lynn. It was actually the very first time I properly went out and did past life regression. I'd just recently done my training, and I was all excited about trying it out on people. So I was actually at a ghost investigation, and I hypnotized 3 people that evening. Lynn's got a little clip on my YouTube channel of that time with Lynn, and she did go through to medieval times because she's always been absolutely fascinated with medieval times. But I would say the majority of times with people, they always have this interest. So I reckon I'm going to go back to like Tudor or back to the 1930s because I've always had an interest. I got no idea why, and their subconscious mind tends to take them somewhere else for some reason. So it doesn't always go to that fascination that people have.
Like a plumber in the Isle of Wight or something like that. Nothing wrong with the Isle of Wight. Nothing wrong with the Isle of Wight. Not at all. The subject has me, but it's the dog walking. Okay. Okay, yeah, watch it later, DS. There.
Yeah, please later, yeah.
So, as I say, Debs is. Hi, Debs. I'm sure you were here earlier. Deja vu, Debs. I'm sure you were here earlier. I could be wrong. Yeah, so is there any sort of, I'll say funny moments as well? I'm going blank. I'm starting to
yeah, that's right. You're okay as you are right there. Yeah, I had one lady who it took ages to get her into hypnosis, and the more experience I've had, it hasn't happened for a very long time that somebody hasn't got a regression. In my earlier days, there was a few times when people wouldn't get something, but this was kind of the last sort of few times when would struggle occasionally. And again, it would only be about 5% of the time when people didn't actually get anything. And when you have a situation like that, and particularly as it was several people being done that day, you start feeling the sweat begin to run down your face because you think you've got to try and come up with the goods here somewhere. But she then came up with that she was a dragon trainer, which
dragon.
She said there's a dragon in front of you, and she said train the dragon, and I think it was partly due to the fact that I was relieved she was getting something. I had the lady Rita who organised it there at the time. My mum was there at the time, being somebody who was like overseeing, making sure things were okay. And I had to bite my thumb, at that point, because I just, for some reason, suddenly found it quite funny that she'd come up with Dragon Town. I don't usually laugh at people. And I just got a fit of the giggles and couldn't stop. And then my mum started laughing, Rita started laughing. And then she came out of it and sort of said, was I talking rubbish then at that point? And I gave her a huge discount for actually laughing at that time. But I only heard it back later through Rita, but that she came up, that the person's name she came up with wrote like fantasy books and things. So probably went into maybe
right, yeah. So
things like that.
Yeah. So she probably. I'm gonna just adjust my screen because I'm starting to get like some bug. Oh God, that'll do. Is that any good? That's a bit better.
Yeah.
I'm starting. So I don't want to scare the audience, Paul. Don't bother with green screens. Don't bother. What's that, Emma? Sounds a bit freaking right. And do math like division without visual? Do you think this could be related to past life memory?
Yeah, it could be. It'd be interesting just to. It's one of those things you don't want to influence a child and put like suggestions into their head that might not be there. But as he's only 3, it might be an idea just to listen out a bit more. And it could be that he's had a past life. It could also be that he has that natural talent to it anyway. So my advice would be just to not sort of influence, but just keep an ear out to see if anything starts coming out, because it's around that sort of age when they start talking, and 3, 4, 5, 6, when you start hearing children talk about spontaneous past lives.
Right. Just trying to find it. There was a question there.
Okay.
That's what I was going to ask you as well.
Yes, I have been regressed a few times. More times when I was doing my training, because obviously you would work on each other. And because when you become somebody in NLP hypnosis, you always need to constantly keep working on yourself. One of my biggest struggles was speaking my truth, and I went back to the 1960s in Russia, a radio operator like within the army, and the impression that I had was that I had to get these orders exactly right, and that sometimes even if I didn't feel it was right, I had to get absolutely right. Otherwise, I didn't know if it would be shot or I just knew the consequences would be really bad. But it was interesting because I still remember now the anxiety that I felt during that regression that I had. So it was interesting. And another time I was kind of like a hunter gatherer, and my name was Ranuk. Not really an awful lot came up, but just the sort of things I was doing, like collecting food, hunting, those sorts of things. And another one I did, I was a carpenter. I can't remember the exact year. I think it was the 1800s or something like that. It was quite a simple, mundane life, but that tends to be what past life regressions are for people, is simple, mundane lives, and it's only occasionally you get the really, really fascinating ones.
So
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that's more than that. I've got to say, what's the like? Have you got like a date, sort of how far you've gone back on a person, or they've gone back on their regression, like an Egyptian mummy, or?
Yeah, it can be any times. I mean, I've had people that somebody was a witch doctor, and they went back really far. And in fact, so far they didn't actually really have any concept of dates or times or anything like that, because you wouldn't at that point. Some people can be more recent, but when I do the regressions, I mean, I will do it in a slightly different way depending on the client, but most of the times I take them to an imaginary corridor. Now, the reason why it's an imaginary corridor is because you just need to have a doorway to get through to the past lives. But I tell them that each of these doors contains a past life experience that everything can be checked up later. So the last thing I want to do is people to think, well, that doesn't make sense then, because your conscious mind is coming into the regression, which will go against what they're actually doing. But I'll let their subconscious mind take them through to that past life, and it can be really any time. Some people it's really recent, so there wouldn't be that much time of life between lives, and other people it's way back.
All right, you're getting that.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? There's people. Do you do life between lives?
I do, and it's again, I will do what the client wishes to experience. I do lives between lives, and it tends to be. I mean, it's not like every single person will get it this particular way. One of the things I find quite interesting is that a lot of people don't seem to be able to see so much, because we get all senses. You know, some people, when they have a past life regression, they're more visual. Some people are more kind of set to get the feelings, and other people will hear the past life experience. But it tends to be that life between lives. When I first started, a lot of people say they can't see anything, but then you have to switch over to being feelings, and at that point, so it's almost like a thing that happens, that lives between lives, that it's more sort of gut feelings. And there's no particular like saying I have to go back at this particular stage. It seems to be with the majority of people that they can stay in the life between lives as long as they like, and then they make a decision themselves to go back.
Hope that answered your question. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You talk, Emma. Yes, he does this without influence. He's just hung. I think talk about the sons.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yes, he does.
I think I just read what's that? Jessica. A session. Every help a person change certainly unhealthy behaviours. Have you ever received a thank you note or call from them?
Messages after, it tends to be more thank you emails. I've had people that have been very bad with money, and in a previous life they were pretty much a miser, and they hung on to their money, and they would spend more time with money building their business, what they were doing, than actually being there for their family. And one particular person that I'm thinking of right now, it was right at the very end of their life that they thought, it's been a waste, you know, I've wasted these precious years. So the next life they went into, they were a lot more giving money away and not holding it so much. So it's good to learn that as a lesson and get the good balance, rather than one way's too unhealthy, other way's too unhealthy.
You get that, Robin?
Mm-hmm.
Don't be so tight and buy me something and send it over to me.
So,
did we just done that one, didn't we?
Yes, yeah.
Sorry, that's me.
Okay.
In medieval time for me, remember, Paul? Laugh out loud.
I certainly remembered you sold fruit in the day, Lynn. I'm sure we'll come up with the rest of it.
Sold fruit. Oh, Lynn. Oh. I'm not saying no more. Yeah, because I think no, this has nothing to do with Lynn before you even start. But I mean, I'm thinking more of like when you get like ladies of the night, maybe, because we've come across them quite a bit. We've found the whole of Norfolk and Suffolk, or a lot of ladies of the night in years ago. And we were like, everywhere we go, and they're everywhere. But you got to think back then. It was survival,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Good grief. And if you got caught, say, you get the petty thieves and stuff like that, they got caught, even kids, they just got executed on the spot, well, not on the spot, but they got hanged for stealing an apple.
I have had people that were ladies of the night in regression sessions, and quite often people tend to feel them, even though they know they're in the chair, even though they know that they're in a regression session, and it's like reliving memories. But when they are knowing that they are selling themselves on the streets, one lady was very vague. She didn't actually mention that to me at all, that she was doing it, until she came out of the regression. And she said that she felt then, even though she knew it wasn't her, the shame that she had to do that for survival, that she couldn't say it to me in hypnosis.
Oh, right. Oh, statement. What's that? Mm-hmm. She put mm-hmm. Richard, I've even had experience of having a conversation with a person in the same place and environment. Now, we've done this before and it freaked me out. So strange.
Well, I mean, certainly it can happen. It's not my story, but one that I talk about during my talks. And it's been on TV. I mean, it was back in the early 90s. The first time I saw it was that Strange But True program, which probably is what got me interested in.
Oh, yeah. Strange But True.
Absolutely brilliant program. But there's a bingo caller from Birmingham, and he went back to being a pikeman in Cromwell's army. It was quite a well-known case, and they actually travelled up and down the country exploring this, finding a campsite with Civil War artifacts that would have been found at a campsite, even though at the time the historians said, that there was no there was no record of there ever being a medieval campsite here. But whilst he was doing a program on, I think it was The Time and the Place, if you remember that program as well, he was doing like
Time and the Place.
Yeah,
I loved all them, Paul. I loved all of them.
Yeah, no, me too.
Unexplained. Oh, I'm trying to think. What's that one they used to say to you at the end? Is it fact or fake?
Fact or fake? Oh, that was great. I like that one. Yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah. You had to get you. They show you something or a ghost story or UFO or whatever it was, and you had to say at the end whether it was. I loved that. I loved that.
This person, Peter Hume, he was a person called John Raphael, and by doing The Time and the Place afterwards, he received a phone call from a lady who said, "I think I might have been your daughter in this previous life," and they met up and they shared stories of the Civil War together and the things that things.
Oh, right, yeah.
And so said, "Do you remember the present I gave you?" Yes, it was a little wooden horse, and yeah.
So they had a both like a regression, but they actually knew each other.
They actually knew each other, and it was
oh wow.
That came out with the lady is what she recognised in Peter Hume's story when he was on The Time and the Place being interviewed, and they became good friends after, which is nice. So reunited again in this life.
Oh wow, blooming heck. I'm catching up now. Look, I'm not quick enough. It's just a change. Oh yeah, we've done that one. Being I've never been registered. What's that? Alberta. I've never been registered. I'd love to. I've never been regressed. Sorry, registered. Sorry.
No. Yeah, I mean, feel free to join in next Thursday if you want to. If you send me a message on Facebook, you can just look at Paul Goddard or Paul Goddard Past Life Regressions. Feel free to, and I'll give you the Zoom link and see what happens.
So you can do it online. I think someone did ask. I don't know if I asked you before. You can do it distance-wise.
Yeah, I tend to like, if it's going to be an individual, one-to-one, because as happened with me earlier, with the internet there can be a bit of a lag. There's also things you can do to test for hypnosis and relaxation when you can have somebody right next to you, which you can't actually do. But I'm certainly going to be opening it up to group sessions. But I'm still doing NLP training over Skype and Zoom at the moment, because that's more conscious talking, and I can send them through an MP3 after. But hopefully at some point soon, hopefully things get better with this lockdown and we can start meeting up again. But that'll happen when it happens.
Well, I think I speak to Cal Rob and Bate, charging people to come on here, and it's a bar of chocolate per person.
Yeah,
and they have to post it in. Cadbury's is my favourite, and yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know what Cal and Robin think. I'm not sure. I'm supposed to be on a diet apparently, but the chocolate bars membership.
So how many past lives can you have? That's all right. I mean, certain different religions say that you keep reincarnating until you've learnt your lessons, and then you don't need to reincarnate. There are other traditions that say there's so many times you reincarnate in an old soul, and then after you've reincarnated so many times, then that's it. But from my own personal research, I don't know. It could be as many times or whatever. I certainly, nobody's come out and said that there's a limit to it at all during my experiences.
Unlimited by the sound of it.
It sounds like it, but again, I can't say that for 100% certainty.
I think we've done that one. When it comes from the same place, that's the one I just see. I went back and found that one. That question. Places, I think I said that I'd been places and just knew I'd been there before. Yeah, we were just saying about that earlier, Alberta. That I was saying about my experience when I was young, and it is freaky because especially when you're telling someone and they look at you and go, "What the? How do you know that?"
Yeah.
Just having a regression. Yeah. Well, on lockdown, I think you're just saying they can possibly do it online and correct.
Yeah, so do it online with group sessions will be the
group session
way to do it. I mean, next Thursday after the clapping at about 8:05, I'll also give a bit of time for people to get on. That's a free one. After that, I'm going to be doing group ones, but for donations. But because it's my very first one on Zoom, I didn't want to say donations and then the day comes and it doesn't work properly. So it's testing it all out. So it will be done what's affordable for people. So if people can only afford to throw in £1, then that's absolutely fine, or 50p if less. So it's just but this first one will be free for people. But if people also want to give more, that's completely fine with me.
Interesting try regression, but Tricia said her regression would probably be boring. Well, how would you know if you've not been regressed yet, Tricia? You don't know, mate. Maybe the born ones would be fantastic. You don't know.
Well, as I said, most of the past life regressions are mundane. They're lives that the majority of people will live, particularly when you go back. There was even less exciting things to do if you were poorer back, even 50 years back. But for the person that is receiving the past life regression, it will be really interesting, even if all you're doing is a hunter-gatherer sat in front of the fireplace most of the time. It will be a pleasant experience for the person having it done. So it won't be boring for you, honestly.
Do it tell you like, do you like a certain time of year when you go back as well, like if it's Christmas or anything like that? Could
it can be. I tend to start off with happy. It depends what people want it for. When I do my live talks and live past life regression to people, I tend to ask more questions. Tend to ask names and dates to see what is coming up, because it's nice to have that sort of proof, and then people can all go online at the same time and see if anything actually comes up with what they're actually saying. But when somebody books me, I'll say to them, do you want this for therapy? Do you want it just interesting, or do you want to do your research afterwards? So I will tailor it for the person, because some people might not want to be asked, what date is it, what street did you live in? They might just want to experience more of the experience. So whatever person comes to me, it will be tailor-made for them.
What's that? What's that, Lynn? And my body at night. What?
She sold fruit in the day and her body at night.
Oh my Lord, Lynn. Oh my. I'm not sure about coming down to Gloucester now. She might give me some fruit.
She might. Well, yes, absolutely.
She's good laugh, Lynn.
Yeah, a question about being emotional after their experience. Yes, certainly the live when I went up to Rotherham recently, Mark got very upset at the end of it. I tend to say at certain experiences that, particularly if it's for interest, that when you get to certain bits, it can be more dissociated, so they don't really get their emotions. And I often tend to, particularly because I take them right to the death experience, I'll sort of say that, it'll be like you'll be able to experience this, but you won't feel any of the negative emotions, because, they come for interest and they don't want to be bawling their eyes out. But you do get people that say, oh, no, I want to go and feel what it's like and have a good cry. And I think, well, each to their own, and allow them to do it. But, I'd rather not experience those negative emotions if it was me. But sometimes...
I would probably.
Yeah. Sometimes you would want to. Sorry,
yeah. I'd like to experience, like the full Monty. Yeah. Well, yeah. If I'm going to cry, then over a certain thing, then because I know some people, I'll probably got to the point, and you go to, and I'll probably go, no, I don't want. I'll probably chicken out.
Most people don't cry, but I did an event in Rugeley near Lichfield, which was again being invited to somebody's house, and each person came individually. They didn't see each other's regressions. Most time people don't cry, but this particular time, every single person that was during that session came out in floods of tears, and I thought the neighbours must be thinking, what on earth is happening to those people over there? But that's why I also offer healing after, and I'll also fully make sure that people are happy to leave. I won't say, right, that's it, your session's over, you're going to leave now. I make sure that they're fully okay before going.
Superb. Stop talking about leg over. What's that? A lot of people believe that we will stay with each other through lives, and I've had people that have been together in past lives. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I have had people that have come across it and then seriously feel that during the regression that they were. But for my own research, and I'm not saying that this is exactly as it is for anyone else, but it tends to not be like that so much. It tends to just be a lot more mixing around for people, and they don't really feel that connection. But just because that's what I experience doesn't mean that's the way it is all the time or anything like that. But yeah, I do hear that a lot, that you have that, and certainly you do hear sometimes with the children with spontaneous past lives. Like they might say, I remember when I changed in America, your diapers, nappies over here, but they'll sort of say things like that as they're being changed as a baby. Well, not baby, but the toddler just begin to speak, sort of thing.
Yeah, please share everyone if you can. Elaine, Paul, do you think the same two people can keep? Well, you can read that. I don't want reading it to you, Paul.
That's right.
I keep forgetting you can read that.
Yeah, but, and having a relationship, they can do. As I said, less so much when people come to me, but it quite often changes the relationship. So it's not like it's always like husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, lovers, or what have you. It can be like father and daughter, and then the other way round, and then in another life they're kind of sort of married in that. So it gets all really mixed, really.
Okay, Lynn. I was around your time, Lynn. Watch out.
She was a sailor with only one leg as well. I remember during the regression.
She had one leg.
No, she had two legs, but the husband was a sailor and only had one leg.
Oh right. Yeah. I was a Roman, Lynn. It ain't gonna work. Sorry, it's not gonna work. This is in the next life. Jessica,
that'd be scary if someone. Yeah, it would be. I've not come across it, but you know, I'm sure somebody has claimed to be that at some point. So I've not had anybody who's been really horrendously nasty. Or there's one person that did. Oh no, I do say that there was a group session and somebody was a pirate and often run people through for money and treasure and things like that. So
right.
But they didn't want to say, you know, where they were at the time, just in case they were like judged. So they came up to me afterwards and said about it, and then felt a bit more confident later, and then did say to everybody else that that was their experience.
Oh, I'm going to say, I mean, is it possible to use that past life regression to solve murders or something like that? You know, no.
I think hypnosis is incredibly powerful for recovering forgotten memories, but it's never like a truth drug. It can't be said to be, because I've had people before saying that they might have had experiences. It's happened to me quite a few times where people have phoned me up and said they've had experiences as a child, they got missing memories, and can I go ahead and sort that out? And I always say to these people that phone up that I wouldn't do that, just literally because you cannot be 100% certain that what they're getting is the 100% truth, because things get twisted in our minds. You know, even like our memories, you hear two people arguing about this exactly the same thing. Also, as well, you can be influenced by TV, and you know, you may be having a past life regression which is absolutely genuine, but there might be also something coming in from the TV as well. So with murders and stuff, you could be falsely accusing someone. But I guess if it's past and if it's long past, like going back to Jack the Ripper, and there's been lots of generations since that all happened, it would be interesting. I don't think you could ever say that it would be 100% proved, but it would be an interesting experience to see if what actually came out with that.
Oh, you got a Jack the Ripper victim, being chased, and you happen to get someone who was one of them, Jack the Ripper, and they could say, "Oh, that's so and so. That was him." That's the fault.
I will Google it and see if anybody has actually done that sort of thing. But when people are in hypnosis, you have to be very vague enough what you come up with, because the last thing you want to do is unintentionally influence somebody in hypnosis. But the occasional time, I mean, the very, very occasional times when I accidentally would come up with something, quite often people will actually say, no, it's this. Or like in Rotherham, Mark sort of said, you know, about witches and on the gallows, and I sort of said, you know, how was she hanged? And said she wasn't hanged, her head was chopped off. So that went against it. So unintentionally, I might have influenced him, but I tend to find people aren't influenced in that state anyway. But I just keep out of it as much as possible anyway, to make sure that there's no possibility that I can influence somebody, because you can take people on a hypnosis holiday, which I did for when lockdown was really hard and people couldn't travel to the sea, to use their imagination to really vivid going off on holiday and doing their favorite activities and things.
Oh, right. We've got some questions. Any more questions? I think you just. Oh, I was going to say some. Hang on. Do you feel better? No, thanks. I think Dan. Good question, Dan. Didn't he? I think it was that one.
They were evil or such like. Would you tell them to move into another time? If they weren't distressed about it, I would probably not tell them to move on if I knew that they didn't have things like clinical depression, because you've got to be extra careful when somebody's got clinical depression and things like that. But I often say to the person, speaking to your higher self, are you happy to continue with this? And quite often they say yes, they're happy to continue with it. And then afterwards, I give suggestions that all negativity stays in the past, where it belongs, and use the past as a learning experience. So it's not like they're going to come out of the session and suddenly revert back to being like the murderer or anything like that.
Oh, right. Question. Question. Yeah. Oh, it's your finger.
Yeah.
She does fingers where I've got to look at. She's a right. Yeah, she's a right controlling person. Oh, what's that now? I don't know what that one. Please continue sharing. There you go. Oh, what's that one? I think we just done that one. Oh, what's that one?
Yes, about being animals in previous life. Yes, I have come across people. It tends not to be very often. I had somebody who was a whale, somebody who was an ape, but the only two I've actually experienced. And I am on the site, and all respect to the people who do the site, because I've had wonderful comments from the people on this particular Facebook site. But they do say, that you talk about past life regression, but it cannot be if you're talking about being animals or on like other planets. And although people tend to not be animals, I think it's a shame that it's just ignored, because it's an experience. And people can be both male and female in a previous life. So, it doesn't, if you're male in one life, it doesn't mean you're always going to be male, it doesn't mean you're always going to be female. So I think to myself, why not? You could well be an animal in a previous life.
So what animal would you want? What would you think you'd be? What animal do you think I'd be? I'll get some funny remarks, or I'll tell you.
Let's think about that one for a while. No idea. Sorry. Any witches? I'm trying to think actually if I did. Yes, I did actually. Going back to an early one, they weren't like hanged or burnt or anything like that. But in their previous life, they very much kept to themselves, because they were like looked at, thought of being odd in a previous life. Because quite often, as I've heard before, and I'm sure I've heard on your streams, that these people were just healers. They knew how to use herbs to heal people and things like that. And this was the same for this lady, and just ended up being rather shunned by society. So no horrible end, but then again, you could say yes, it was a horrible end, because to be ignored through most of your life is pretty horrible, and to be talked about is pretty horrible. But
it was gossip. It was gossip that got them.
Yes.
I call them murder. I wouldn't say they were guilty of anything. They just got. That's it. If they didn't like the look of you, I don't know, gossip from the neighbours, that's what caused that.
And if somebody was from high society, I think that they could easily, if they didn't like somebody, I saw them removing something from a yew tree at the midnight, and they were cackling in a very strange way, and then you would have like the witch finders going round and chatting to them and stuff. So yeah, horrible times, and grateful we've moved on from that now.
Oh, thank God. I mean, you've got to think about this religion as well, because certain people didn't want this the devil, and they were so superstitious about everything then. So I
Yes.
think that played a big part of it. I think if you had a black cat, you were you were a witch, weren't you, or something? Or was it good luck? I can't remember that. I can't remember off the.
It could be, but I know people absolutely terrified of, and there was a real belief in vampires, not what we read in the books from Dracula onwards, but they would be very sort of smelly, night stalking, evil-looking creatures, and there were people back in that time which would generally be terrified and put garlic and crucifixes on their doors because they would really have that absolute genuine belief that they could be got in the middle of the night.
Cool. So, what's that one? Robin again.
Excellent question, Robin, about the birthmarks. Dr. Ian Stevenson, he did research with children from around the world, and quite often they would say that they had a birthmark where they were shot, and they would be. And what he had noticed, if somebody had claimed to be shot with quite a large caliber gun or rifle, there would be a birthmark, say, where they were shot, and at their back there would be a larger, because apparently when a bullet goes to the body, the exit wound is much larger. So there'd be a small birthmark on the front and a larger one at the back. Children involved with horrendous injuries of having their fingers removed and died from a lack of blood, and he took photographs of this child who had like missing fingers because in a fodder chopping machine that he got his hand caught and the fingers came on. But that child was born into a neighbouring village, and it's when the families met that the child instantly recognised his mother and the brother of that previous life, and he went from both houses because there was a strong belief that he really was the child, and both families accepted them as being their son, so he would be sometime in one house, sometime in the other, and quite happy. And Ian Stevenson often said if it was more of a violent, traumatic death, that would leave a stronger memory for future lives.
I think that's a very clever question, Robin. I'm surprised. She killed me for that. She's going. Oh, they might have been a complete lie in the part. What about that one? That's Carol.
Could be, but then if they were a liar, they probably were lying to me, and that not they were making it up, but they might not have been telling the truth as that person in a previous life.
Oh, hang on, what's that one?
Black cat bring mice. Oh, right, about black cats and bringing in mice. When I became interested, probably through Strange But True. I mean, I remember getting ghost books when I became interested in past lives from 8 years old and being absolutely fascinated. Then I saw past life regression, became interested. I think the moment I actually genuinely became really interested in hypnosis, which then led back on, once I did the training, regained my love and interest in past life regression and reincarnation. Very first time I remember becoming interested was I watched a program about a dentist who was also a hypnotist, and he would hypnotize his clients' customers to no longer be fearful of the dentist chair. And the program, because you don't really see much in the way of inductions on the TV, they showed a little bit of it because they don't show the full thing in case people become hypnotized actually watching it. But seeing her go into hypnosis, and I was just entranced from that moment onwards. And I then went away from that, but always had that interest to dabble in it. Wanted to be a DJ, DJ'd for some time in my life. Wanted to be a radio broadcaster, and then later on in life, after reading Paul McKenna Change Your Life in 7 Days, I got interested in hypnosis again and really helping people. And then when I did the training, I first went with Leicester Training, Raymond Roberts, wonderful person, and then Maria Wheatley, who's going to be on your show, who did more lessons with me on reincarnation and doing past life regressions with people, and it sparked it all back off again. So it's quite a long answer, Jessica, but I hope it answers your question.
I've got a question. Another question for it. Right, this is going to get complicated. This one, Paul.
Okay,
Right?
I like complicated ones, so that's good.
See, Cal, Robin, you might think got good questions. I've got good questions. I'm going to say, can you be regressed? This is going to be really difficult. It's probably balmy, actually. Can
Like,
be
balmier the better. Go for it.
Can he be regressed and maybe come back or through as a spirit?
I haven't experienced the life between lives, and when I did say earlier, most people don't. Some people do see in the lives between lives. But there was a child on a program that said, I jumped through a hole and then I was here. And a few times it's come up now that they've experienced like going through to their next life and literally see it as jumping down through a hole, and saying they can see other souls like jumping down into a soul and seeing their next life down there that they're going to go into, like the child, the baby they're going to be, and that. I haven't actually had anybody that's then gone through and really been a spirit and doing that, but it may well come, and if it I'll certainly let you know about that. But I like it. I like those sorts of questions.
See, have some of that, Robin. In your face, Robin. You've got a couple of praise you too. We have a bit of banter, don't we? Yeah. Everyone thought Robin was a bloke because of the picture.
Okay.
But no, she's not. She's not. She's a lady. You're a lady, ain't you, Robin? Oh, I said that one. I'm just putting up because you said I've got brains. Brilliant. Yes. I used to want to. Oh, what's that?
Oh, right, brilliant. So yeah, I'd be interested in what sort of radio broadcast. I wanted to be. Sorry, I thought you said you were. I mean, the great thing is about it is by doing this, I have been invited onto radio shows. So I guess the experience continues, but the other side of the mic, and I think that's kind of nice because it's not all the time. So it gets me excited when I'm going.
I know a few people, Paul, that Robin and Cal don't know about. Some famous people, so I'll have a word.
Brilliant, thank you.
We'll see if we can get you on a good radio station. Yeah.
Yeah.
So have some of them marbles, Robin. Carol. What's that? Yes, I have heard children say they remember jumping through to another daddy.
Yeah, so it seems to be a reasonably common thing that happens with children, and also as well, it's been, I wouldn't say dead common, but reasonably common with people experiencing that life between lives, that they're jump through a hole towards their next life.
Just called life between life.
Yeah.
I think someone did mention that actually. I just made it more complicated. Because as a paranormal investigator, have you ever come across the portal in your time?
No, absolutely not. But I have heard of portals, and as I say, with everything, always expect the unexpected. And I'm sure at some point that will come up. It's like going off, but when you expect the unexpected, one of the things that I make sure I always say now during a regression is staying with this lifetime when you move to a different time. Because in my early days, I didn't do that, and particularly if it's somebody's very first session, they can go from one lifetime to another within. So you're jumping around years and different people, and it can get all rather confusing. So if you put in that suggestion, staying with this lifetime, which was thanks to Maria Wheatley for giving me that one, then you're going to stick with the same one. Because as I said, during my early days, I had one lady that went back to the 1500s, and I said, now move to a really happy time, and I didn't put in that suggestion, staying within this lifetime. She jumped to another life, and also like, now what do you see? Motorbikes. So that was that was kind of a sort of shock when she came up with that. But yeah, so make sure you say, so if anybody else that's listening does do past life regression, if you say staying with this lifetime during each time you're speaking to somebody, then you will stick through that same lifetime.
I would say, do you think that people, because that you get, is it duplicate? I can't remember. Duplicate gangers. Is it called? When you get, yeah, when you get two people look the same.
Oh, you get split souls, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, they look. Yeah,
so
they actually. Well, I'd say they look. They look the same person. Do you think that could be a past life? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they did say that this Barbara O'Carlin and Anne Frank had very similar facial details. There's also been other people as well that have claimed to be somebody from a previous life, and when you put the two photographs to each other, they look incredibly similar. And sometimes they run it through the program that you would get in FBI to recognize criminals, and it actually comes up as being the same person because their facial features are that similar. Sometimes people in regression, though, they will say they look pretty similar to what they look now, because I get them to look in a mirror, or if it's before mirror in a reflection of something. But other people say they don't look anything like it as well.
Yeah. So I was going to say then, so like, well, I was supposed to be a lord, wasn't I? So
yeah, yes,
a knight.
Yeah.
So did Mel Gibson play a knight? Just asking the team there. Is that good? Or did I say Mel Gibson? What's the other one? Oh God, he played Gladiator. What's his name?
Oh God, yeah, that fellow. It's gone from my mind now. Yeah. That's a question for today, so that can go. Yeah, I know, and I know his name. It's just gone from the top of my head right now.
What was the actor for that? Come on, you're all slow tonight. No, it was not.
Heath Ledger. He did A Knight's Tale, didn't he? Heath Ledger.
Yeah. It could be Russell. See.
Right, that's him. Yeah, Russell Crowe. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we should put a side-by-side photograph here and and see the similarities.
But I don't think he was a knight though, so I might.
It was a gladiator, wasn't it? Yeah.
I was told I had been seen by people I've never known. Doesn't mean I have.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that you may have met in a previous life. In some other relationship, but also as well, you do hear of split souls. So that's when it comes to reincarnation, the soul splits and goes to one life and another life. So you can have two people that were originally the one soul that meet together. And I had a conversation with a lady that said that happened to her.
Stop that now.
Go again, yeah.
I'll change it down the bottom here. I'll change it to Tim. I'll change it to Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Look, Knight to the Round Table.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just the Crow part. Crow. Thank you very much. Yeah. Any more questions? There's a bit of a delay on there.
No, that's absolutely fine.
They're talking about Hollywood stars now. They lost the plot now. That I know my saucy men, Tim. See, you get, yeah. So I said, hopefully we eventually we can go anywhere. Where we can stay the night. Yeah. We can't even do any. The team can't do any investigations at the moment.
Wow.
That'd just be. They'd forget about the 2 meters for start off. They'll probably end up picking people's equipment up and putting it down and forget to wearing gloves. That's not going to happen for us for the moment. No way.
No. But when it does, they will certainly set that up. It'd be good, definitely.
Yeah, and if we come down and then, I think that was Gloucester Prison was one of them, or anywhere, all the Gloucester places around that area. So. Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Someone nicked me Angelina and said they knew me before in another time. Okay.
Yeah.
Someone nicknamed me.
You met Jessica, or somebody you know more? I mean, just curious to know myself, actually. I'm going to change around interviewing people now on here.
Angelique, into Angelique, not Angelina.
Oh, right.
So that's me. It's my eyes. Said they knew me before. Yeah, I mean, I wonder if I'd like to say, like you said about relationships in a way, if someone's, was, in a relationship or married to someone in the past life, and then they meet this person who they didn't even know, maybe it's part of an attraction somehow. But they were.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a good, strong possibility. Yeah, absolutely. And you do hear about twin flames and things like that. Souls traveling together and everything.
Yeah, two more questions. We're nearly finished, Paul. We're all sweating here, aren't we, Paul?
Yeah, absolutely. Who have had past locations they've been to? Yes, it was Lee when I did the stuff at Rotherham recently. He was pretty sure that he was one of the people soldiers on guard in a castle. I can't remember the name, but it's out on the internet. Anybody want to actually watch? And he was pretty convinced that he went back to being that person because he was just fascinated and felt really at home being in this particular location. So yeah, that can happen, and that got picked up when I did the live in February.
Oh, right. I don't know what it was. Look at Lynn trying to put. Look.
Ah, brilliant. Lovely.
Do you recognise that?
I'm afraid I'm not quite sure what the code is, but that's probably maybe a video that I did.
She's been like it all night, Paul. Good grief. She's been emailing to your telephone and then go.
Yeah, so Derek's asking about the connections with like previous lives in small groups. Yeah, it can happen. As I say, when I see people myself, that doesn't come up so often, but you certainly hear of it. It seems to be groups of people do, and some groups don't. It's quite random, but that's how it seems to come when people come to me anyway.
I'm still attached to a castle. Well, if I'm a knight, he's not allowed in my castle. I own that castle, thank you very much. But it could end up like that, couldn't it? I mean, there's be fights between castles and knights.
Oh, absolutely.
Or was that kings? I'm thinking probably more kings.
It's kings, clans that they were all fighting each other. But I think basically when they got bored, there was no wars. They would think that they start fighting with each other.
They kicked off about something. Ain't changed, is it? I think one more question, then go on. Lynn is a very big fan. Huh?
Mm-hmm. Have you ever found out what you were in your past life? So yeah, I mentioned about going to Russia in a previous life, the wood carpenter in another one, and ran up like a hunter gatherer. You can do like self hypnosis, so I can go and do a regression myself, but I just end up being, when it wasn't locked down, busy doing other people's rather than myself. But yeah, I will explore more for people and let them know more stories and things.
Look at that, sir. See, that's more like it. Then now you can keep Plug and Paul's stuff.
Yeah.
She think I'm being serious, Paul. Man. Plug what you like, Lynn. Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for anything, people can contact me. So if you want to have a session, maybe not so much past life regression at the moment, but I can certainly do it over Zoom or Skype or anything like that. Can you learn to do regression? Yeah, absolutely. Anybody can learn to do them. I would recommend you you can get loads of online courses, but I think that by seeing someone is better. You can really get to ask some advice in your early days. You get to really try it out on the people rather than just answering questions online. So both the people that I would highly recommend if you wanted to learn, Maria Wheatley, who's in Wiltshire, and Raymond Roberts, who taught me hypnotherapy, and he's does a lot of his stuff in Hay on Wye. So they're the two wonderful people that I would recommend if you want to learn past life regressions.
Well, I can say, I think we're going to call it a night, Paul. I think it's been brilliant, and that's been very interesting. This is one of the most interesting things for a long time.
Oh, thank you, Tim.
And it really is. I think, you hear about these things, but you don't really go further than actually, how can you say, go to the person who's doing it direct, and then get. I mean, that's why I like doing these shows, to go, like, if there's get a witch on here, for instance. Someone who does it, who's a witch, who do that sort of thing every day,
Yes.
and thoroughly enjoyed it. I thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
I've really enjoyed it, and thank you to you, Tim, and thank you to every person that has asked a question as well.
Yeah, and don't forget, after the live, share it out, and we'll post everything to help. With Paul's YouTube, Instagram, all that lot. We'll shove it on the page. We'll shove it on the groups, so if you want do his lives on Zoom, I think.
Yeah, Zoom.
But I think for now, me and Paul we're sweating. I've got special effects on, but Paul's like, I need a drink.
I've got my
we'll have to get Paul back on and sort a couple of weeks or something, and come back on and have another chat.
I'd love to. Thank you.
What's that, Tina? Oh, hiya, Tina. Need more of these. Well done, boys. Send lots of Nuki. Oh, look at that.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. And thanks for you lot watching. That's the important thing, sharing and doing all that for us. We appreciate it from me and Paul. Right, we'll say bye-bye, I think. And I'll see you Monday. I don't know who's on Monday, and we'll go from there. And thank you, Paul, for coming on. It's been brilliant.
Right. I'll be tuning in Monday as well.
Stay on after. Don't just rush off, yeah. We'll see you later. And thank you very much.
Bye.
Okay, bye.